Okay, question 5. Now, if you refer to the question itself, for a circle, when you want to create a circle, you must provide the radius. So the radius is the only attribute that you need to provide as an input when you create a circle object. Okay, so that's something that you need to bear in mind. Uh, so when you create a circle, you need to provide the radius. So this is the only input that you need to provide. So for the constructor, self dot radius will be equal to radius. Okay, and that's all. And then if I need to get the radius, the method called get radius, I just return the self dot radius. If I want to set the radius, then my self dot radius will take on the new radius, right? And who is going to provide this new radius? When you do a set radius method, you need to provide the new radius. Okay, otherwise we don't know what to change to, right? Okay, and if I want to calculate the circumference, circumference is of a circle is 2 pi r. Okay, so the circumference is 2 times pi. So where do we get pi from? Pi, you use the from max import asterisk. Okay, so you must remember, if you use from max import asterisk, you can simply type pi. Okay, 2 pi r. R is the radius, but you cannot just type radius. Okay, you must write self dot radius. Okay, so 2 pi r, so that will be the circumference, and I just need to return this value as the circumference. Okay, how do you get the area? Area is a pi r square, pi times r square, so it will be the self dot radius multiplied by self dot radius, or if you want to put a double asterisk for the power also can, square. So pi r square, and then that will be returned. Okay, in the event, okay, I'm not going to teach you that lah, because uh, if you are using import max, which I don't really encourage you, okay, then when you want to use pi, you must use say max dot pi. Okay, you must say max dot pi. Okay, so I think from max import asterisk it will be easier, because you just simply type pi will do. Okay, so once you have the class, the code for the class and all the methods created, you can create the first object C1 using the radius 5 units, and then you can print the radius, and also you can okay, don't set the radius first, okay, and then I can calculate the area and the circumference. Okay, let's run. Okay, so the radius is 5 and the circumference and the area and the circumference. Okay, and if I were to set the radius to 7, this time around, if I were to put the print radius over here, uh, you will see that originally it is 5, then you change it to 7, and now you have a new calculated area and the circumference. Okay, so all your methods are working. You can test that. To create 3 more instances of uh, uh, circle, uh, you have to use the circle class. Okay, that's our circle class, and you must provide one input, and that input will be the radius. Okay, so that's how you create it. Can. So in this way, you created 3 circle. Can. And each of these, if you want to find you want to get the radius, right? You just want to check whether circle 1 get radius, right? Circle 1 not defined because I didn't run the code. Let's run the code. Circle 1, yes, 10. I can get the radius for 2. I get the 3. Okay. Now you see by now you're wondering, how come this get radius they know to get the radius of which circle. Okay. So the the this is the magic of that self, the magic of that self thing, so when you get radius, it's not get any radius, you get the radius of this circle tree. And when we use the self dot radius, when you return the self dot radius, this self is actually our circle, whether it's a circle 1, circle 2, circle 3. Okay, so that is how OOP handle that particular object and gives you the radius that you want. Okay, just a little bit on that. Okay, let's get on to question 7. Question 7 is the book class. Okay, question 7, book class. Now you take a look here. When you want to create a book object, okay, when you want to create a book object, uh, let me go to the attempt, that would be better. Okay, question 7. Now when you want to create an book object, you take a look over here. Book 1, right? You need to provide the name, the author, and the ISBN number. You need to provide only 3 inputs to create a book object. But then the book object has 5 attributes. Now, so you need to provide the title, author, and the ISBN. The other 2 you don't have to provide. Okay? So out of these 5 attributes, you only need to provide values for 3 of the attributes. So that's something that you need to bear in mind. Okay, let's continue from here. Now, so in the constructor, you only write down those that you need to provide. So you need to provide the title, you need to provide the author, and you need to provide the ISBN. These are the 3 things that you need to provide. Okay? So the self dot title will be equal to title, title, okay? Self dot author, that will be equal to author. Okay, now these are the 3. How about the other 2? The other 2 is the on loan and the due date. Okay, self dot on loan, be careful, capital O, capital L, capital O, L, okay, equal to something, and then the self dot due date. Okay, so take a look at the question. Now, on loan, when you first create a book object, when you first create a book object, this book is not on loan. Okay, so on loan is a boolean, so either you return a true or a false. So in the case when you first create the object, it must be a false because it is not on loan. Okay, second thing, the due date. Now you get the due date. If the object is borrowed, being on loan, then there will be a there will be a date. If it's not, then the book is not on loan, so we can give it as a string. Okay, so in some sense is that when you create a book object, you just need to provide 3 parameter. Okay, 3 argument, and that creates the book object. The other 2 has some kind of default value, and that it will be the on loan and the due date. Okay, let's continue from there. If I want to get the title, I just need to return the self dot title, uh, return self dot author, return self dot ISBN. Okay, uh, return. Uh, okay, so there you go. Now, then we have three more utility. Borrowing. So when what happen when you borrow? Okay, down here it says you need to update the attributes on loan to true. Okay, and the due date you have to set a due date to it. Now the due date is actually 3 weeks from today. 3 weeks from today. Yeah. Okay, so we are going to use the date time object to do that. Okay, let's settle that. So when somebody borrow, the self dot on loan will need to be set as true now. Okay, then the self dot due date. Okay, now take a look at the codes over here. You need to from date time import asterisk. Okay, you need to use the date time module. So we have from date time import asterisk. That's the date time module. And then the loan date. Okay, maybe I just copy over here the loan date. Okay, the loan date is today, and then the due date will be the loan date plus the time delta. Okay, so you can learn a little bit more about this time delta and also this date object from the back to basic handling on date and time. It's important for you to learn that from that particular back to back series lesson. Okay, so over here, loan date basis. So I can say today's date and then plus 3 weeks. Okay, so that will do the job. Okay, so that is what the borrowing will do. Is there any output required from the borrowing? Don't have. Okay, for the returning method, you need to update the attribute on loan to false, right? And then the due date, set it to this uh not on loan. Okay, books not on loan. Okay, so let's do the returning here. Let me copy this. Okay, so this will be a false. Okay, and then book not on loan when you do the returning. Okay, and print detail we have the attributes. So let's print the detail. First one is the title. So give a proper label, okay, and then get title. Remember the method has a bracket. Okay, okay, get ISBN. Whether is it on loan? Whether is it what's the due date, right? Okay, something which I have forgotten to get the title, author, and all these values. You need to do a self dot get, right? I almost forgotten about the self. Okay, there you go. And once we have the class properly defined, we can create the book object, and then we can print the book object. Okay, let's run this. Okay, so I create my first book object, and then if I were to get the title, get the ISBN, title ISBN, the due date is not on loan, and then on loan is false. Okay, now I start to borrow, right? So book one is being borrowed, and then if I were to look at the due dates uh, and the on loan, let's try. Okay, so the due dates now is on the 12th of December 2022. Okay, 12th of December is exactly 3 weeks from now, from today. Okay, and then the status for on loan is true. Okay, and let's say when somebody return the book, okay, right, I'm not going to borrow it anymore, so I'm just going to right. Okay, if somebody return, right, so the due date will be not on loan and then false. Okay, have I forgotten to do the check? If someone want to do borrowing, okay, I think in our Mr. Wee, can you help me to verify? Did we require the checking when for borrowing that the status must be false before we allow for borrowing?
No, I think it makes sense to do that, but we didn't check for that.
We didn't check. We didn't check. Okay, can. ISBN need to be capital. Um, is there a need to put it capital? Let me see. Yes. Okay, here. Okay. The method. They specify the method to be capital letter and the attribute also capital letter. So my bad. Thanks, Mr. Wee, for reminding me that we need to follow what the question gives. Okay, so down here the ISBN self.isbn, okay, is best to follow. Okay, let me change all this. Okay, all my ISBN I need to update it. My method is also capital letter. Yeah, that's all. Okay, can. Okay, so uh what in this question, this is a very simplified question by right what we need to do is that, oh, you somebody want to borrow, I say, oh, if the self dot on loan uh is not uh true, right, then you can sort of borrow it, right? Okay, else uh you know prints sorry, the book is not available. Something like that, right? But in this particular question, we didn't require this. We didn't require this. Okay, can. So it will be just sufficient, for just a basic kind of OOP. It is just sufficient and just change the two attributes. Okay. Okay, so I'm done with the question 7.